Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I'm so glad you are here. And yes, I pushed live today. We've got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about spiritually speaking, a deep dive into our own faiths. And I would love to have you join us. We'll be here for about an hour. We're going to try not to go over today. But if you would like to come up, we would love to have you with us. So I'm going to go ahead and play the intro and bring my guest up, and we'll be right back.
Dancing with our Father and God in fields of grace. Dancing with my Father and God in fields of grace.
Hey!
Okay. All right, everybody. I know we've got a few people in the chat. Hold on. Let me change this back where I can see. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Angie. I am so glad y'all are here. I want to welcome my special guest, London Girl. And yes, she is from London.
Hey, everybody. Hey, 82. Hey, Kim.
Hey, I'm so glad you're here. And of course, most everybody knows AT2. How could you not? If you're on YouTube, you should know him. Welcome, AT2, and thank you for being here. I love you guys so much. You're welcome. And I'm so glad you were here to talk with me about this today. I had in my thumbnail that Mike would be here too. I really wanted his input, but he is under the weather and he really needs to be taking care of himself.
Sending positive vibes to him.
Everybody sending positive vibes, well wishes, prayers, sending healing energy. And Mike, we hope you're listening. We love you and we miss you and we're praying for you. Since I have been on YouTube, I have spoken to so many different people with so many different, I'm going to use the word religious right here, and it's the only time I'm going to use it, religious backgrounds. I think of religious as synonymous to routine, and my relationship with religious backgrounds, I think of religious as okay.
Oh.
I was like, that sounds like me.
I do apologize. I forgot to mute. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was just really confused because I was like, that sounds like me. Who is
great? I was like, what's going on?
Okay, well, good.
We are live people.
So many different people with so many different quote unquote religious backgrounds. I choose to name mine as a faith background, as you all know that have watched me that I am Christian. And I do not believe in religion because religion is the same as routine. It's just like religiously brushing your hair or brushing your teeth or getting dressed. And there's nothing routine about my relationship with Christ. So I'm not sure how everybody else feels, but I'm going to use the word faith. And I'm going to start off with you, London Girl. What do you think is the most fundamental aspect of your faith? So, first of all, what is your faith? I'm sorry, what is your faith? Because most people don't know.
Well, I am the alternate faith, I guess, because I'm a Buddhist, as Tina Turner would say. And I practice, and I reference Tina Turner because it's the easiest way to explain the branch of Buddhism that I practice. It's in her film. She's got a great album of different spiritual chants, but she's also still connected with her Baptist faith. So she's kind of an encompassing spiritual person. But yeah, so as a Buddhist, I believe, and my faith believes, that not only that everyone is equal, but that everyone has inherent Buddhahood within them. So in Buddhahood, there are different worlds. But to simplify it for the purpose of this conversation, because we don't have so much time, some of those qualities of the Buddha are courage, wisdom, compassion, and life force. And every morning I chant to a scroll which contains all the worlds, all these different possibilities, which is a mirror, a reflection of my life. So everyone contains inherent Buddhahood. And by chanting, we believe that we reveal those qualities of the Buddha. It doesn't mean that we're not angry, we're not any of the lower worlds in Buddhism, but that's the fundamental, that everyone's equal, everyone has inherent Buddhahood.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you, AT2? How would you answer that?
For me, I would say that I fall under Christian slash other, when they say Christian and then slash other, I would fall underneath that. For me, um, I kind of never had really the like structure of religion. It was more of faith because I'll say like, my grandmother, she was a Jehovah's Witness and on my dad's side. And so, I had that. And then my mom, she was Christian. So um having seeing both different worlds and both different sides of religion, like I've always had a prospect of it from an outsider standpoint. So I realized that to all religions or all faiths can be correct in some of their thought process and some of the ideals that they all share. There's room for everybody. So with me personally, there's things that I believe in the Jehovah's Witness faith, and then there's things that I believe in the Christian faith, which they kind of both go hand in hand. There's similarities, and then there's dissimilarities, obviously, but for the most part, it's under the same umbrella. So there's for me, I've never had that routine where go to church every Sunday and stuff like that. I'm more like go to church sporadically, maybe twice or three times a year. But for me personally, I've always felt like I have my own relationship with God, and no one can ever tell me anything differently. I have my own relationship, and what I try to get people to understand is that it's okay if you don't know how to pray, because I don't think I know how to pray. It's okay if you don't know every quote in the Bible. It's okay to be imperfect. The whole thing is that you have your own relationship with God, and some things just click and some things just come to you because you have that relationship with God.
And I believe that too. And
Me too.
I want. Hey, Elise, I am so glad you were here. I am so glad you are here. I love you, and I was thinking about you right before we started, and I was hoping you would join us. I am so glad you're here.
Bonjour, Elise.
Bonjour.
AT2, I do want to say one thing before I go on. And you saying you didn't know how to pray. Praying is nothing more than talking to God. He knows your heart, and he knows what you're going to say before you say it. So you're not wrong. So don't ever think, okay, I'm not doing this right, because you are. You are. Nobody can tell you how to have a conversation with your Father, which is what God is.
Right.
Okay. I'm Christian. Y'all know I'm a Christian. And by that, I mean, I believe that God created the heavens and the earth, and that he created man in his own image, and that man sinned against God, Adam, and that caused a split between us and God, and man was no longer perfect, and everybody that came from Adam was not going to be perfect, and God is a just God. So he sent his son to the cross for us to die in our place for our sins, that we might believe in him, call on him, and go to heaven, and that Jesus is the way. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one can get to the Father except through me. And that's what I believe. I believe Jesus is the way to heaven. And that's my belief. I got two questions I really want to get in here. And if anybody in the chat would like to come up and speak, you're more than welcome. I've dropped the link. Please come up. I would love to hear your thoughts too. I'm going to start with the London girl again, ladies first. Um, what would you like to tell others about your religion that you might think would help them in their daily life?
Well, I really think that anyone who has a practice of faith was
I'm
if they weren't
sorry.
born if they weren't born into it, they were something might have happened in their lives to lead them to seek something
Mhm.
to support them in their life. And for me, para me, it was because as a young woman, as a teenager, I was really depressed. I was really depressed at different periods of my life. I have relatives in Berkeley in California, as it happens, and I
Oh
was
wow.
yeah, I was staying with a friend there, and I was in my early 20s at the time, and she was at work. I was staying with her, and I was watching loads of those American shows like Jerry Springer, all those kind of Sally, What's Her Name, all those
Great
American
TV.
shows.
yeah, it wasn't the best introduction, but what I learned from that was a lot of people were saying they were Christians, but kind of acting in a way that I didn't feel was so Christian, whether it be, kind of just think about all the isms, and it's just like, really
Right,
depressing, is that really the practice of the faith that you believe? And so I
right.
remember a list literally of different faiths and going down the list and just doing a bit of research. Then I might think I had 6 on my page, and then the last one that was on my page, so it was kind of the end of the search, not the beginning, was Buddhism, and I one of my mum's friends, who's the most self-deprecating, make you literally run for the toilet because she's so funny, women, is a Buddhist. And I was like, what? She's a Buddhist? How is she a Buddhist? Because my impression of Buddhism was like, robes, very silent, in a retreat, in a mountain. I
Yeah.
was like, how is this really funny, funky woman a Buddhist? And my mum said, well, she is. And also, she'd had quite a difficult time with her partner at the time. And my mum said she's completely transformed, everything about her life in a really short period of time. And
Wow.
I thought, let me give it a go. So I did. And two big experiences that I realized and that she taught me were, and I'm interested to see if it's true of other faiths. She said to me,
Mm.
Buddhism will make you more of the person you're supposed to be. So in life, when you come into this
Mhm.
world, because also in Buddhism, we believe in reincarnation, the eternity of life. When you come into this world, you basically have your character. But because you're a baby, you can't really speak or for the first 3 months, you don't actually know that you're separate from your mum in the kind of the baby. You have this attachment. So sorry, I got distracted by chat. I'm not going to look at it. So
I do too.
so, and then there are studies that up to say a year or up to when a child can crawl, all their reinforcements are really positive. It's like, hey, hey, come over here. Hey, good boy, good girl, come to mommy. Oh, come to daddy. Everything's really positive. And as soon as that child can start to crawl and grab, that's when they get their negative stuff, their negative reinforcements. So it's like, oh no, no, don't do that. No, give me that, and I'm sort of shouting it, but in whatever words, it can be a very negative reinforcement. Then they go to kindergarten, and the same thing might happen. So, in this kind of realm of faith and spirituality, that person who they're supposed to be is literally being pleased for their behavior, and that carries right through your life. And if you're not someone who has a lot of positive influences in your life, then you could, start to believe that you're supposed to be this quite quiet person, for instance, or have to study a lot or whatever it is. So when I started chanting, it was like peeling layers off, and to get to the core of that person I'm supposed to be, which is funny and fun loving, and all these different wonderful things which were expressed, but were expressed through a kind of policing, whether it be at work or whether it be at school. So
Mm.
my message is it makes you more the person you're supposed to be. So it takes away. So if I look at the things about when I chant courage, so the opposite of courage is kind of cowardice or weakness. So it's the courage to be able to do those things without anxiety. Wisdom.
Oh.
So I'm trying for wisdom, what is the right decision in this circumstance? What would really be the best way that I can help someone? So by meditating, I'm getting more of those qualities. Compassion, I mean, that's a big one in any faith, right? But I would say it's a lot of centered around compassion for yourself. So you're in the best position to offer compassion, because it's easy to give someone money, but actually would taking them, especially in these times when there are so
Right.
many people homeless or whatever, would it be better to just have a conversation with another human being and make them feel better and go for a coffee with them, whatever? So it's the wisdom
Love
to
that.
know those things to do. And then life force is energy. So I remember in my practice, I've been practicing for about 20 years now. So I really did start, I feel, at the right time for me. And I remember just these examples of making the impossible possible through faith and life force to only have 3 hours of sleep and then get up and go to work and then do some volunteering work for the organization. So those are the things I would like to say. It just makes you more of who you're supposed to be.
I understand that. Something you said made me think of something Mama always told me. One piece of mothering advice she gave me was the first year you teach your children to walk and talk, and then for the rest of their life you tell them to sit down and shut up. And that came to my mind, and I'm like, yeah, that's really true. You are told to sit down and shut up if you have an opinion that differs from others.
Ooh,
Yeah,
right.
it's difficult. There isn't a lot of time in the world anymore to be able to raise human beings. And everyone has their take on how we raise children, but it can quash a child's personality. I saw Jenny's put in love. It's like if you practice with love and kindness, which every religion has, if you practice love and kindness, then you're allowing that person to be who they're supposed to be from a very young age.
I see that. And
Right.
what about you? Have any questions, AT2?
No, it's funny that you mentioned the thing about, a child doesn't know anything until they start crawling and stuff like that. And I was all like, honestly, I was just thinking, like, a lot of our religious beliefs kind of come from the way we were raised and the way we grew up as a child. And it kind of just put it into perspective for me. This is the reason why I am the way I am now, because the way I was raised. If I had the opportunity to discover, well, I mean, I do, but if I was more like, didn't have any relationship with God, or I didn't have any kind of religious backing or anything growing up, then I don't know what I would be. And maybe I would, maybe check out other religions and possibly, experience, like the different religions of the world and stuff like that. And not saying that I can't, but at this point, I'm content with where I am. But we kind of get our faiths and like our beliefs and everything from the way we were raised.
I agree with that. I was raised mostly Methodist and sometimes Baptist, depending on where we lived, because we moved a lot with my dad's jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from the Methodist Church who God was, who Jesus was, but I was never taught that I could have a personal relationship with him. And I didn't learn that till I went to a different type of church when I got older that was, I learned better from, I'll just put it that way, as non-denominational.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the issues I have seen with quote unquote organized religion is you've got one man standing on a pulpit, a man, saying you have to believe this, you have to believe that, you can't believe this, no, you can't go here, you can't go there. I'm going to tell you what, if Jesus was alive today on this earth, he would be in the bottom where the drugs are being sold, and I'm not monetized, where the drugs are being sold and the prostitutes are and all. He wouldn't be sitting in a church.
Right, right,
He would be out saving the lost. And for a preacher to tell me that I can't associate with a certain person, no. You can look at my Instagram. I've got friends on there. I've got a wonderful Buddhist friend that's on there, and I've got spiritualist. I've got atheists on there. I don't have a prejudice against anybody. I don't think God allows me to do that. That would be judging. I know you got
right.
something to say. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is my problem with like organized religion because I just think I like how you grabbed your microphone too. I
Hmm.
just think that you should be out there just like you said Jesus would be out there with the people, with the homeless, with the prostitutes, with people with addictions, really trying to help them. Like,
Absolutely.
for I live in California and I especially live in the Bay Area, and we do have a homeless issue. My thing is like, while church service is not going on, why can't you house these people in the church? You already get a tax break. And on top of that, if the church is not being used, it can be used to house some of these people. And especially, like, if you have a small church, I definitely understand. But if you got one of these mega churches that has a drawbridge on it where you got to drive
Right.
up to, then, that's why sometimes people like will quote these different people, and I don't want to say any preacher's name because I don't know if anybody likes these people, but you have these mega churches and like they be quoting these people like, oh, they just spoke the word to me. But what are they doing to really help the people? Like, what are they doing? Like, you over here on Section 8 and they living in a mansion. Like, make it make sense. It don't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either. And whenever my husband and I bought the land that we are on now, there was a 20-something-year-old triple wide mobile home out here that needed some work,
Hmm.
but we didn't have time. We didn't want it. We didn't have time to fool with it. We didn't have time to do anything, and we donated it to a church that would find stuff like that, and they would house homeless.
Right.
And I was so proud of that
Mm.
they did that, and
I love that.
I mean, you've got a family with children living on the street, and all you have to do is put in a little work and open a door. I mean, those are the people that turn around and help other people. Hurt
I mean,
people are just going to hurt people.
Hmm.
yeah,
And
and I think to your point, it's um I sometimes talk about vibrations and high vibrations, and your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so, if just as you were speaking, Kim, and I was thinking about what you were saying about and 82 about these organized religion, and I've experienced that with my Buddhism, where I don't practice with the organization because there are too many things which feel anti the quote unquote scriptures of this particular faith and religion, because it's like you can't have all these closed buildings for someone that doesn't even visit them. How are you wasting all this money when we could be involved in local community work? So for me, wherever there is human beings, and for all our religions, they've come through thousands of years, thousands and thousands, no pen and paper, interpreted through humans in their state where they were met. So they are being um, interpreted through whoever it is that chooses to tell you that I am this person, I have this faith. So that's why it's important in with anything that you do have your own personal faith with your
absolutely.
whatever religion you're
Right.
practicing. And I think that's a big thing that people don't get, because when my faith is, I call it internal, and the mirror is kind of a world to that internal thing. So things that happen on a macrocosm, like the anniversary date today of 9/11, will also be occurring on a microcosm in my world. So there isn't a separation because we believe we're part of the whole universe. We're all connected. So I think it's really important, and especially now where we've been in this weird journey for over 18 months of this thing that hasn't happened for 100 years, where we're stuck in our houses and we're losing more people and more quickly than we should, that we have something on an internal basis that that keeps us grounded and keeps us,
Mm-hmm.
adding value in society through our faith and
Mhm.
whatever religion. But I personally had an experience with organized religion, and I practice by myself now, as opposed to going to the equivalent of what a church would be.
Oh, okay.
I do understand that. I do also want to read what Elise wrote. She said, my religion journey is a little different. My elementary school is Catholic school, high school is Christian school, and my whole family is Buddhism. I think all of them taught me the same thing: respect, help people when I can, don't do any bad, even a small bad thing. I guess even a small bad thing, and to love.
Right.
So, yes.
I
And
love
Jenny
that.
says, preach it, A2.
Thank you.
Hey, Nikki. Nikki said, I agree, A2. Everybody's
Thank
agreeing
you,
with
Nikki.
you. Jenny says, we are all connected in this Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lost my place.
Okay, so
Um,
can I just add one more thing? Because I just wanted to go on
absolutely.
about this connection that we all have, but also the one thing that I learned, I find that, I used to practice twice a day for like 2 hours a day, 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours at night, you know, and by that realization of being connected to the universe, what I found was, I it created a certain rhythm in my life. You know those things where, I don't know, all the lights are green all of a sudden, say, when you're going through stoplights. So they're all green, or, the parking person doesn't give you a ticket, or the bus comes at the right time. So I found that it created a rhythm of, because my mission was adding value or being the sunshine or whatever it is that you words you choose, it created this rhythm where things were still bad that were going on, but I was able to deal with it from a more than half glass, half full, more than, so from a glass. Oh, what is it? Half. Oh my
Half
god.
full.
Uh, yeah.
We got it.
Half
So
empty or half full. I know you're trying. I know what you're
yeah,
trying to say,
okay.
but I'm
These
confused.
percentages. So I would then be able to approach life from a 70% positive type of place, type of thing, because I was able to put my faith into, and this rhythm into my job, and became this just
Mm,
very efficient person, for instance, very great at solving things very quickly. So as I'm talking to you now, I really saw how my life really moved forward through my Buddhist practice.
mm,
Jenny said, I'd be interested to see what different religious views are on abundance. Even Jesus turned fish and bread into an endless supply. How would you answer that, London girl?
I'm always first.
Well, we could let AT2 go
I'd,
first.
I'd love to hear from 82 while I take a glass of water.
Sure. I've always told ladies first, so I just okay. AT2, how would you answer that?
that's actually a good question. The way I would take that is, well, the way I would answer that is, I think, well, for me personally, kind of like, when it comes to like the Quran, with the Muslim faith and stuff like that, there's a lot of similarities. And I haven't read the whole Quran or whatever. I'm just saying from what I studied and what I've seen and researched. There are a lot of similarities with Muhammad, and Jesus, and a lot of religions. There a similarity with, like, there's someone out there, a prophet, that was going, trying to help people, trying to teach people of this religion. And it's just crazy when you think about similarities. So like, wait, this is kind of like the same thing, but just different characters, and the story might be slightly different, kind of like the fairy tales that you see in Disneyland and stuff like that. They're not all the same, but they have similarities. Like the girl falls in love with the prince, and then they're together and they go off and live happily ever after, but there's some struggle in there in between before they get together. So I think there's more similarities in religion than there isn't. You know what I mean?
I understand exactly what you mean. I know you and I are both Christians. I do find strength and comfort in reading my Bible. Do you read your Bible religiously? And I do mean that routinely. Or how do you get your strength from God? Where does that come from?
For me personally, it's not, I do have a Bible, but it's not reading the Bible. It's more like, my own personal relationship through prayer with God. That's really where I get my strength, and I really get my answers that I need. And if, someone tells me a quote out the Bible, I will go ahead and pull out my Bible and read it, and stuff like that where I can reference it. But mostly my relationship is through prayer with God. And that's how I get my sanity and everything.
Well, I've been telling you for the past year, and I'm standing by. I know God's hands on you. You are going to prosper,
Thank
and
you.
you are going to go far. I know it. I know it, and I believe it with every bit of me. So you believe it too, and I do.
Yes, you are a lot better than that palm reader I went to, but that's a different a different subject for a different show.
We will definitely touch on that. That is something
I
but
can't
I
believe she
have to
scammed me
wait
out
for
of $20.
God's huh.
She scammed me out of $20.
At least it wasn't $2.99 a minute. I heard some people choose that for stuff.
Not the $2.99. Okay, well, just to stop this going somewhere else, on the abundance thing, I think it's a really interesting question. I'm going to take it from the view of a practitioner rather than the priests or the vicars or the whoever's in charge. So I think as a practitioner, the view on abundance is because all religions bring you back to humility, bring you back to bring you back to you don't need a lot really to exist in this world. And that in Buddhism, for instance, abundance could be seen as a greed, one of the 10 worlds. Whether greed comes out as gluttony, as having too many material things, through your practice of almost just like recentering yourself as your faith gets deeper, you understand what is really important in your life and to the lives of people around you, whether it's your family or your work colleagues or even YouTube. You find what's important, and if it's based on adding value, then the abundance thing becomes the less dominant factor in your life. So you're then back to concentrating on your wisdom, your compassion, your courage, and your mission. Ultimately, everyone is kind of world peace. So that's why part of the reason why I don't like that particular abundance and greed in
Right.
when religion is organized by people who think they're best, but you can see them not acting on the tenets of whatever that religion is.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that too is something, the greed. Um, when you're laying there, and especially with this panoramic going on, we should all be having a different focus on life and what matters.
Right.
But with as many people that have lost so many other people, I would think the focus would be more on the internal than what money can buy, because money's not going to replace that person. It cannot replace your health. It's not possible. And all you have to fall back on is the internal.
But
Right.
I think because of the state where we were as we entered the pandemic was about greed and abundance and how can I make it without doing, how can I make it at the cost of everyone else? It was a very selfish thing society we were living in anyway. So
Hmm.
it's no surprise that then when we go into something where so many of our I want to say rights, but our basic needs are taken away. You have to stay in your house, you can't go out to the park, you can't leave your house, you can't go to work, you're not interacting with humans, then of course that anxiety can manifest in the need to rack up my credit card on Deliveroo things, or the need to,
Amazon.
spend too much, shopping. I've done it myself because I'm not, at those moments I'm not self-aware enough to think, what is the purpose of this? It doesn't really have a purpose. So it's no surprise to me that actually the world has gone even more unbalanced, where the have-nots are really dominant in the world, and the haves, I think COVID exposed all the inequities in the world, and is continuing to do so. So I'm not surprised that in this pandemic, this is what manifests for a lot of people.
This pandemic has been crazy with you talking about shopping. Y'all, I've got enough spray disinfectant and Lysol wipes and hand sanitizer to last me through 2 more pandemics. Sam's was selling their 2-gallon jug buckets, containers of hand sanitizer for 98
Wow.
cents before the second round came through. We loaded up. And I'm glad we did, because here now that this second round's come through,
Hmm.
it's going right back up to
Yeah.
$11 a gallon.
And it just makes you hold on tighter to your faith, during these times.
Yes. Kim,
Yeah.
82, London girl, and chat. Sorry, I got to run to my
Oh,
colleagues
have
waiting for
fun.
me. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, Elise, and you are welcome to
Take
hit
a
me
lot
up
of
when you get
pictures.
back.
Au revoir, ma petite chou-fleur. Bonne nuit.
The
Wee
accent
wee
is
to whatever she
everything.
said.
I
Queen
called her
Parrot.
my I called her my little cauliflower because that was my favorite phrase when I was
Aw.
learning
Oh,
French. Ma petite chou-fleur, and just good night.
Oh, Jenny, if you need Lysol, I'll be glad to send it to you. If you need some, that's one thing we've got in abundance right now is toilet papers on the shelves. We've got sanitizers. We're not running low. They learned that.
yeah.
Queen Paradise, whose accent? We all three up here have a different one.
That's
More
so
than likely,
true.
it's you two than me.
But it's true. There's two amazing things about the pandemic. The first to share here is that being able to connect with people I don't
Yes.
even know from this YouTube stuff has been awesome. I wouldn't have known you guys had it not been for the panorama,
Right.
basically. And then, in terms of just the kind of content I want to watch on YouTube, I've gone through everything. I've gone through all the different sectors. Everybody's fighting with each other, and there isn't any I even went into true crime the other week, and I was just like, oh my god, they're fighting as well. So for me, having this kind of bigger awareness that I have now, it's that thing of what do I want in my life, and I only want to have positive things in my life, because the negative
Absolutely.
things, really distract me from my faith ultimately.
Right.
Miss London, she loves your accent.
Thank you, Queen
Oh.
Paradise.
That is so sweet. Jenny said the world got smaller. I've never ever met people out of other countries. I know, me either. For me to talk about, okay, I'm talking about my friend in London, or I'm talking about my friend in France, and it's kind of I sit back and think,
Right.
had it not been for the panoramic, we wouldn't have known. And
Right.
again, I give credit where credit's due. We all met through Adam, except for you, AT2. And I'm going to tell you what, I really had to go back in my brain and think, because you had
Yeah, I
asked
wonder
me
how you
before.
found me.
I had searched for something, and one of your thumbnails popped up, and that's what caught my, because that was the first time I had contacted you. I said, look, I know I'm nothing. I'm really small, and you don't have to answer me if you don't want to, but how do you do thumbnails? I don't know how to do them. And you told me. I mean, and you were so sweet, because you could have ignored it and gone on, but I mean, you took the time with me, and that's how you and I met. And I don't even remember what I was searching for, because like London Girl said, I went through so many genres and everything just looking, because I was lost. I was fine taking care of mom and everything, but when mama was gone, I had 24 hours a day and I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And YouTube saved me. So, I mean, you couldn't look at it now and tell it would save anybody, but it did. But I tell you
Right.
what, though, talking about Adam, Adam is one creator that I have noticed has never said, and I've never heard it. He may have said it. I have never heard one bad word about anybody come out of his mouth. And
Right.
that is commendable to me. I have a whole lot of respect for him. And I've never heard Jason say anything bad about anybody. So y'all check him out, Up and Adam and Down with Jason. There's his plug.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah, they are great.
Adam really does stay out of all this stuff. Like, if anything, he'll run from it.
Absolutely.
He'll
And
run from it.
we have seen that. We have seen that many times, and you're right. A little kindness goes a long way.
Right. You know what really helps me with the whole YouTube thing is that I understand, like, it's a form of entertainment. So I can detach from it easily.
I
As soon as
appreciate
I
that
turn
go
right,
ahead.
as soon as I turn off my camera, I'm done with it.
Yeah, and you
Right.
remind us of that in every one of your shows. This is
Hmm.
entertainment, and I appreciate that so much.
I was thinking about this earlier today because I saw a post from, it was Fem Taro actually, about karma. And karma
Mm,
is being thoughts, actions, and deeds, basically, and how they manifest. So if you live a life of value creation, then what you will have manifest in the future is the results of that positivity you're putting into the world. So it's like, do as but conduct yourself how you'd like others to conduct. I know it's different, YouTube's different. I'm not necessarily talking about that, but the karma aspect of it is to just think about, am I creating positive causes for positive manifestation effect, or am I creating negative causes for negative manifestation and effect? So what I was thinking about in how it relates to the YouTube drama is, it will be really interesting because I have been, I watch In the Bushes, and I started to do it as
right.
a psychological experiment on people, because I was like, God, that person seems quite anxious. They seem as if they're in a manic episode at the moment. Oh, that person, have they been drinking or not? Of course, judging, not necessarily always objectively, but as a subscriber, I would really like a panel to really talk about the effect it has on subscribers, because
Ooh.
there is a lot of, you don't know what's going on backstage, you don't know behind scenes and all the calls, and of course we don't, and we only see, so at the moment all the drama in every thing I've been in, every different sector I've been in is very high level. And they're like, did you go to that person's channel and you saw that they did that? And did you go over there and saw that they did that? What about that? I'm going to make a video. But it seems all the creators, and as a subscriber, I can get the feel of what's going on. But I'm also just like, what the hell? Why? What? Sorry.
Right.
What, what's this about? So I'd be really interested if there was a kind of subscriber panel on, giving feedback to how it affects people and how
I
much they
love that idea.
That is a good idea, and that's one reason my channel has not grown as much as it has, is because I refuse to be a part of the drama. I've been tried to be dragged into some drama, but I don't take the bait. And I had rather grow very slowly than to have subscribers off of the negativity of someone else. I
Right.
refuse to do it.
But
Hello, Willow. I am so glad you are here. I am
I
so
think
glad you stopped by. It just touches my heart.
I think that's commendable, but ultimately, drama clearly sells. And that's why, from a psychological perspective, it's like, what is it about this that gets people so invested? As a subscriber, gets people so invested, gets people so, oh my god, do you see what's happened? Is it because we're missing those water cooler moments of work where we'll be gossiping about so and so and so and so, or is it that there's
Right.
content anywhere? But it's for me, it's a very interesting psychological study of the human race.
It's the
Absolutely.
access. I believe that's what it is. The access to us. When it comes to when you watching reality TV, usually it's something that's filmed 6 months ago, and now they're just playing it, and then you don't really have access to those people on reality TV. Where with all the drama and stuff happening on YouTube, it's happening at this moment right now, and you can be a part of the show. It's not something pre-recorded from months ago and then now it's being displayed now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see
Got
that.
it. Got it. Yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, sorry to go off topic, but it's just something that I've been watching it from the bushes, and I'd really like to see that. So maybe 82, we can talk another time about that whole thing.
So
Right.
we
I
can all
like that.
talk about that. I'd like that. That would be awesome. We're going to get ready to wrap up because we are at 47 minutes. Y'all please like, subscribe, share, get the word out. Like I said, I am growing, but very slowly. So please just get the word out when you can. London Girl, are there any final things you want to say, or any way somebody can get in touch with you if they would like to?
Yeah, I think I'm original Dalston girl on Instagram.
You are.
Then yeah, it's the same. I've got the same avatar, but it's original Dalston girl. I'll just write in the chat where it is. But also, I just wanted to thank you both for. I really
Oh,
like interfaith discussions like this, and I think for me, dialogue is the most important thing. And when we can talk about our own personal experiences of our faith, it kind of unites us.
I thank y'all both for being here, because
thank you.
I would absolutely love to have the panel full of, like I said earlier, of atheists and theists and every kind of person you could
Right.
imagine. I would like up here.
I
And
would
I
love
know
that.
Paranormal Witch has a different practice as well. And next time, I hope we have time to have her on here to tell us hers. And AT2, do you have any final thoughts? Please tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. I just want to say, Kim, thank you for having me on the show today. I appreciate it. And just to have such a cool, open conversation, any chance that I get to do something like this that's not for the norm for me, I really appreciate it. And I'm just happy that you're sticking to your guns and you're sticking to what your content is about. And you will see the growth. I promise you, you will see the growth. And just thank you for having both of us on. And London Girl, I love you. Thank you for being one of my earliest supporters when I would only have 3 to 4 to 5 people in the chat. You don't know how much I appreciate you from the beginning of my growth. So thank you to you both, and especially you, Kim, for having me on the show.
Thank God.
I want to say one thing about 82, and what really attracted me to his channel was joy. I would laugh if it was late at night, or I would laugh for what I used to call the EU, coffee morning, when he'd come on late his time and it'd be 6 o'clock in London. So, but what really attracted me is your great heart and great joy.
Thank you.
And that was with me too, as he made people smile, and he's gonna go far. He's gonna go so far.
Thank
I
you.
believe it. And you remember little old me when you get to the top. You remember I told you.
Hey, I can't promise anything.
No, of course not. All right, guys. I love you both so much, and thank you for being here. I couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, thank you.
The chat has just been very gracious to both of y'all too, and to me. So we love you. Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate it. Like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Love you, chat.
Bye.